Now that is real nice.
Mini-sentries. These personal aimbot machines have been the bane of mobility-based classes ever since their introduction in 2010, where, for some reason, they would constantly regenerate health while building.
Check this out, a sentry has 100 health. I'm gonna hit it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. After 2 times, it didn't blow up. 65 plus 65 plus 65 equals some number. I don't even know what it is, but it's strange, guys.
So, many players have memories of this unkillable metal menace with regenerating health that could 1v1 any class that didn't have explosives. But guess what? That was a bug? Question mark? So, that aside, now all it takes is 2 clean meat shot... Or, would it be a metal shot? I'm sorry. 2 clean shotgun shots to kill the darn thing. This means that you can't just spam it in front of enemies hoping that it works out. You kind of have to plan ahead and choose a nice spot for your sentry. With only 100 health, it's going to get destroyed very quickly, so you want it to be in a spot where it's going to be shooting at the enemies before they even realize that it's there, or if they have someone else to shoot at. So, within my play, I have found there to be 3 different general types of sentry spots. And within those types, there's variation, but for the most part, there's 3 types. There's the aggressive sentry, which generally will get destroyed very quickly if it's not hidden behind, a bush or a rock somewhere. These sentries are made to engage with people directly on the front line or help your team standing right next to the choke point. Now, a passive sentry is generally used when you're having trouble holding directly at the choke point, and against competent players, you want to be running a passive hold almost every single time. Now, a passive hold is where you're basically only using the sentry to help your retreating teammates, so you're giving your teammates a giant area of effect that they're completely safe in. And then there's, what the fuck is that sentry even doing there? Now, I know that it feels upsetting to die to the bush sentry. You just don't even see it, and then all of a sudden auto-aim kills you. It feels unfair. But in reality, especially if it's a mini sentry, it has like 100 health. That's 2 shotgun shots or 1 rocket. It's not really that bad. On top of that, this entire game is kind of based around situational awareness, in the sense that Spy is a character that you kill people if they're not aware of you. And the sentry gives you a warning. It goes, and then you have like red rectangles on your screen. You're like, I'm taking damage. Your character goes, just turn around and kill it. But enough of that. Do you guys want to learn about sentry jumping? Oh yeah, sentry jumping. Very cool, very epic, but not very useful. I guess that I shouldn't say that it's not useful because somebody's just gonna sentry jump behind the entire team, build a nest, and it's like, what are you gonna do with sentries? But it can be very inconsistent and hard to pull off in a regular game. The way that sentry jumping works is that your sentries kind of have built-in inaccuracy, and if you're jumping with a mini and not rockets, it can be hard to hit yourself with bullets when you get far away from your gun. This means that you can't really keep giving yourself velocity, and if you do, it's up to some pixel-perfect aiming of your Wrangler, and the bullets actually deciding to hit you in the back. And then on top of that, you gotta add the fact that you're taking a crazy amount of damage from shooting yourself in the back with about 30 bullets to get where you need to go, when characters like the Soldier can do that with 1 rocket, and then put on a pair of shoes to reduce the damage even further. The Engineer doesn't have any shoes like that. It's always going to be fun to just sentry jump behind them and just put down a sentry, or just even sentry jump in front of them and put down, the funny sentry. The only issue with sentry jumping is that it puts you in such a vulnerable spot that you're going to want to have teammates backing you up somewhere to to distract the enemies, or you're going to want to do it in a place where the enemies aren't even going to notice you. Those are the best situations to actually get something out of your sentry jump. Now, all this being said, I have a confession to make. I like to equip the Jag and to pretend that I have the Gunslinger. I know, it's weird, but if you can plan accordingly and kind of understand when the enemy is going to actually come in, you can get a lot out of a level 3 sentry, or even a level 1 sentry that has a little bit more health than a mini and does a little bit more damage. You can do a lot with it. And the only trade-off is you have a little bit less health, and if you're constantly getting the drop on enemies and you're shooting them first and they're not diving you, then it might be a good idea to unequip the Gunslinger and use the Jag. But then again, that's just my personal preference. I like to use sentries to kind of secure locations for teammates and support them by giving them an area that they're nice and safe in. But if you like to focus on teleporters, or you want to be a dispenser man for a game, then go ahead and do it. You know, the Gunslinger can help out with that. In the end, the Gunslinger definitely fills a very nice role for the Engineer in TF2, where with 125 health, he can just get, kind of dunked on by any single class in the game, but increasing it by 25 and giving him the option to switch to a shotgun and a fast-building sentry that'll back him up, he can actually kind of hold his own against soldiers as long as they don't, get that second rocket in. So that being said, even though this item may have a pretty complicated history, it definitely has a place in Team Fortress 2 now. It allows the Engineer to do a lot more with himself and, focus on other supportive buildings and, use his shotgun for a change instead of just only using the Rescue Ranger or Frontier Justice. It's quite nice, actually. With that all said, that's the end. I think that the Gunslinger definitely has a place in Team Fortress 2. It has a complicated history, but once you get past that, it's fun, gives the Engineer a lot of options, and you should use it. I'm still kind of experimenting with this series, and I'm gonna keep messing around with different types of content as long as I'm having fun with it, so expect new videos soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. What's it gonna be? Primary weapon. And it's a different one this time. Different thing. Alright. The airstrike.
Full champ.